Greek mythology has always been a subject of awe and curious study. It offers an exciting perspective on ancient culture and tales of the creation of the gods. Many famed stories are also based on these myths. For instance, the masterpiece novel Frankenstein was also subtitled Modern Prometheus in recent years. Those of us who geek over Greek myths have been graced with Percy Jackson, the book series, along with countless movies and shows, as well as Blood of Zeus, amongst many others. Stands out. A tale of a tragic hero, the familiar song of unfaithfulness, and the inevitable interference of the Olympians, Titans, giants, you name it. In this marvelous video, we're going to focus on Echidna, the wife of Typhon, and more importantly, the mother of all monsters. Major Season 2 spoilers ahead. Now, let's dive in. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. The monstrous origins of Echidna. Blood of Zeus, the TV show, is filled with bloody battles and ancient wars among the gods and titans. One of these was the Great War between the 12 Olympians, led by Zeus, and the Titans. The gods defeated the Titans, and as the last one fell, he cursed the gods for an eternity. And when his blood touched the sea, the giants were born. Each of these 12 beasts was the bane of every Olympian god. But what the gods didn't know was that apart from the giants, another beast was created when the blood of the last Titan touched the greatest depth of the oceans. The anime portrayed this as a monster who was said to be far more powerful than the gods, titans, and giants combined. The serpent Typhon convinced the monster to remain unseen, and by this time, the Gigantomachy war between the gods and giants began. Bloodshed so cataclysmic and fierce that it threatened to wipe out the creators of the world and humanity itself. Neither side relented, but finally, the last giant fell. At the eventual end of this battle, Zeus ordered Hermes to collect the giant souls, while their physical remains were left to rot in the ocean. Hephaestus, the great blacksmith, forged the cauldron of darkness, which kept the souls of the giants trapped forever. But another reckoning was unleashed, and Typhon arose from the sea, a behemoth whose head was touching the stars. The battle was unlike anything the gods faced, but they subdued him and imprisoned Typhon under Mount Etna. Several ages passed, and as the fates would have it, something disturbed the peace on the ocean floor. The remains of one giant were churned up and washed ashore by a sea cave. One of the main characters of the show, Seraphim, stumbled across this carcass and was driven into a frenzy of madness, which forced him to eat the giant's flesh, thus leading to the creation of the first demon. So, while Season 1 focused on the civil war that took place between the Olympian god, as Hera unleashed the cauldron of darkness, we also witnessed Seraphim's realizations about his true family, and our protagonist, Heron, one of many illegitimate sons of Zeus, stepping into his role as a true Greek hero. Even though the god of the sky may seem like a reckless father to mortal children, in this anime, he redeemed himself to an extent. He had always kept a watch over Heron and his mother. In the last few moments of Season 1, Zeus handed over the Eleusinian Stone to Gaia for safekeeping. The stone was said to give its wielder immense power, greater than what they already possessed, for the stone possessed the power of Typhon. The stone was essential to keep him trapped under the Earth's surface. Season 2 began with Hades scrambling to get his hands on the Eleusinian Stone, so he wouldn't have to be separated from his wife, Persephone, when she went to live on Earth for 6 months. Zeus even sacrificed himself to ensure the stone didn't fall into the wrong hand. The gods then found themselves leaderless, and the competition to become the ruler of Olympus began. Gaia decided that whoever could manage to enter the hidden realm and retrieve the stone would become the head of the god. Both Seraphim and Hades were true testaments of the lengths one would go for their love. As for Heron, he only wished to prove himself as a worthy hero and son of Zeus, but that didn't end too well for him, as at the end of Season 2, Hades mercilessly stabbed Heron in relentless pursuit of what he's always wished for. In a fit of fury, Gaia deemed all the gods to be unworthy of ruling Olympus and threatened to awaken a beast that none of them dared to name. And this was none other than Typhon, of course. We only wait to see if, in Season 3, Gaia stands true to her word. You might be wondering where Echidna fits in all this. Well, the monsters that Seraphim and Heron had to face in the hidden realm of Gaia were birthed by Echidna. She was most popularly known as the wife of terrible Typhon and the mother of all monsters. But how did she come to be? a character having unanimous origins, especially in Greek mythology, is nothing new. According to Hesiod's Theogony, Echidna's parents were Phorcys and Ceto, the sea deities. Some sources claim that her parents are Gaia and Tartarus, which means that she shares her parents with her husband. So let's stick to the sea deities. According to the ancient myth, Echidna lived in a cave under a hollow rock by the edge of the world. She lived oblivious to the tyrannical gods and men, but they eventually drew her out. Echidna was described as a beautiful nymph with seductive eyes and fair cheek, but her lower half was a great serpent. Being a half woman, half monster, it was also hinted that Echidna often ate human flesh. This duality of being a woman from the waist up and a terrible serpent from the waist down also represented her role in Greek myths. The story of Echidna and Typhon is true proof of how love can be blind. The two were described as being monstrous, outrageous, and lawless creatures that formed a bond based on love. The story of their first meeting is unknown, as they jumped straight into the making of the worst monsters. Echidna was Typhon's mate, and together, they conceived the most nightmarish creatures to exist in myth. Typhon was known as the father of all monsters, while Echidna was their mother. Before we explore their offspring, we also must talk about the couple's greatest feat against the Olympian gods. In actual Greek mythology, Typhon was accompanied by his mate, Echidna, in their assault against the gods. They gathered their countless offspring in war against the gods, but were still defeated by Zeus. While Typhon was imprisoned under Mount Etna, Zeus spared Echidna and her children. Did you know that the Greek gods actually wished for monsters to exist? Echidna's progeny proves to be a worthy challenge for many Greek heroes, like Hercules, Perseus, Odysseus, and Theus, among countless others. Gods wished for monsters to exist so the mortals would continue their worship and pray to them for their own safety. In a way, the monstrous offspring of Echidna kept the gods of Olympus relevant. Echidna and Typhon were a fearsome pair that threw the fiercest battles in the way of the god. Typhon proved to be one last obstacle for Zeus before he became the ruler of the Olympians. Believe it or not, Echidna's inevitable death did not come in battle, but in her sleep. Argus the giant, with 100 eyes, killed Echidna while she slept, but her children lived on. All of Echidna's children explored. The supreme mother of the greatest monsters. What does this really mean? Did the children of Echidna play a part in shaping ancient Greek myths? Let's start with the terrifying monsters that were first shown in the anime. Sphinx. The Riddler offspring of Echidna and Typhon was also known as the protector of the ancient pyramids. A great monster, the Sphinx was also known to have the body of a lion, the face of a contemplative woman, the wings of a bird, and sometimes a serpent as a tail. In the story of Oedipus, Hera, the wife of Zeus, sent the Sphinx to the ancient city of Thebes to plague its people as punishment for their crimes. The Sphinx perched on a nearby mountain and riddled every traveler who attempted to enter the city. She would offer a new riddle taken from the Muses, and anyone who failed to answer would be devoured instantly. Once, she offered this to Oedipus. It walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs at noon, and 3 legs in the evening. What do you think the answer is? Oedipus answered correctly, to which the Sphinx threw herself into the sea, thus freeing the people of Thebes. In the anime, both Seraphim and Heron have to face the fearsome Sphinx, which is one of the 3 challenges in the hidden realm of Gaia. Cerberus and Orpheus. The 3-headed hound that guarded the entrance of the underworld, kind of like Fluffy, who guarded the Philosopher's Stone. This monstrous son of Typhon and Echidna was said to have 3 snarling heads of a dog and serpents for tails. Cerberus allowed the undead who had passed the river Styx to enter the underworld, unless you happen to be Athena's daughter with a big red rubber ball in your possession. He was also known as the Hound of Hades, being a faithful companion to the god of the dead. Cerberus had a brother named Orpheus, a 2-headed hound. Orpheus, also a spawn of Echidna, guarded the red cattle of Geryon on the island of Erythea. The Greek hero Hercules was sent to fetch one of these cattle as a part of his 12 labors. He confronted Orpheus and killed the ungodly mutt. Ladon and Draco Colchium. The serpent-like dragon is most popularly known to be curled around the tree of the Garden of the Hesperides. His primary purpose and duty was to ensure that no one stole the fabled golden apples of Hesperides. He was helped in this task by the nymphs of Hesperides themselves. In one tradition, Ladon was known to have 100 heads with devilish voices, a monster that never slept. As part of his 12 labors, Hercules bravely killed the bees that protected the apples. Another dragon child of Echidna was the Colchian dragon. that protected the Golden Fleece, also known as Dracocolchium. The watchful serpent resided in the sacred grove of Ares in Colchis. He guarded the Golden Fleece with his life, even when Jason or the Argonauts came to steal away the fleece. It was said that the beast was either killed or put into a deep slumber by the witch Medea. Chimera. The child of Echidna was the nightmarish hybrid of multiple creatures. In the Iliad, the Chimera was described as a beast with a lion's head, the body of a goat, and the tail of a snake. Chimera was said to be female, despite the lion's mane on their heads. The Chimera was a vicious and feared beast that breathed fire and possessed the combined strength of 3 different animals as one beast. Most popularly, it is believed that the Chimera was the hybrid of Pegasus, Medusa, the Griffin, and the Minotaur. Her death was at the hands of the Greek hero Bellerophon. The hero was sent to the land ruled by the king of Lycia in Turkey. The hero was meant to be killed off, and a sly way to do so was to send him on a quest that would surely end in death. Bellerophon was sent to kill the Chimera, but he had the upper hand with Pegasus's company. Nemean Lion. The majestic child of Typhon and Echidna terrorized the hills of Nemea. Its fur was invulnerable to any weapons made by humans. The Nemean lion was said to be a massive beast with fur as gold as the sun, claws sharper than any mortal blade, and 2 roaring heads with flowing mane. King Eurystheus had asked Hercules to slay the beast to begin the myth of Hercules' 12 labors. Before his first labor, Hercules met a young boy who told him that he needed to kill the Nemean within 30 days. The people of the village would sacrifice a lion for Zeus, but if the Nemean lion survived, the young boy would sacrifice himself. Hercules bravely approached the Nemean lion's lair and tried to stab it in vain. He resorted to strangling it with his bare hands, choking the beast to death. Then, the Greek hero proceeded to skin the beast with one of its own silver claws. Hercules had killed the golden lion of Nemea within 13 days. Lernaean Hydra. Perhaps the most terrifying child of Typhon and Echidna yet, the Lernaean Hydra was a great water serpent with 9 heads. It lurked in the swamps of Lerna, and anyone foolish enough who tried to behead the beast was hit with a terrifying realization. You see, every time someone cut off one of the beast's heads, 2 more would magically grow from the stump. The Lernaean Hydra was yet another creature Hercules was ordered to kill for his 12 labors. This time, he had to face the beast as redemption for killing his own wife, Megara, and their children, in a fit of rage and madness. When Hercules reached the swamps of Lerna, he covered his mouth and nose to save himself from the poisonous gases. He continually beheaded the beast, just for 2, 4, 6 more heads to keep sprouting up. Finally, with the help of his squire, Hercules pressed burning brands into each stump, which cauterized the wounds and prevented regeneration. But Hera would never accept this, so she sent the Hydra to kill Hercules. Following the Hydra came a giant crab, but the brave Greek hero crushed it underneath his foot. Marvelous verdict. Even in the blood of Zeus, we got to witness the monstrosity of Echidna's children. Even if Echidna didn't make a direct appearance on the show, her influence is scattered throughout. The showmakers took a great creative liberty and drew inspiration from her progeny while conceptualizing the 12 giants who fought against the Olympian gods. These mythical beasts are not only symbolic of our deepest fears and worries of mortality, but they also maintain the balance in the worlds of uncertain and chaotic legends. Most feel sympathy for the monster, often because their creators detest them. But not in this case. Echidna took great pride in her identity as a monster and the mother to all of them. They were essential to the story, even if the gods saw them as lesser beings. And that was the end of our video. Aren't we all just Greek nerds? If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.